Do you remember your school librarian? You know, the one that inspired your love of reading? How about that cafeteria worker who always gave you just a little bit more mashed potatoes because she knew they were your favorite? Schools are full of support staff working tirelessly behind the scenes at our schools to support the teachers and students. And it's our privilege to honor 5 of them tonight. Hello, and welcome to KIXE's 5th annual Big Education event. I'm Jesse Angelo, your host, and for the next half hour, we will be the ones supporting and encouraging the support staff. So, let's get started. To say Miss Ann Coelho at Mercy High School knows how to multitask may just be the understatement of the year. Let's hop into the school office and see what she's working on. Mercy High School alumni Mrs. Ann Coelho may officially be her alma mater's secretary and attendance clerk, but over the years, her warm and nurturing spirit has earned her another, more personal title.
An award a couple of years ago, kind of as a joke, but it's true. She's Mama Bear. So she's kind of takes care of students. If they're sick, if they need a little help, if they're having a bad day, she's that warm, nurturing person that is just there to support our kids, and she's so committed to the high school. She went here herself as a student. She's had 3 daughters that have gone through Mercy, and so she's just totally connected to the fabric of the school, what makes it a special place, and it's special partly and to a large extent because of Ann.
To me, Mrs. Coelho is kind of like, every team has a team mom who brings snacks and everything. She's like a school mom. If anyone has a problem, they go to Mrs. Coelho. If anyone has any concerns, they go to Mrs. Coelho. If anyone needs to check their dress code, they go to Mrs. Coelho.
Working with the students has been a special challenge in that it's very, very difficult for me to get out of mom role when I'm here. So the first year that I was actually here, Mr. Weber roasted all of the staff, and I got the Mama Mercy Award because I'm always telling them, you know, go home, do this, do that. It's hard to just keep that role of faculty to student because I love them, I care for them, I want them to do well.
Mrs. Coelho was nominated for the Big Education event by her principal, Paul Weber, who is convinced there isn't a task too big or too complicated for her to accomplish.
So Mercy High School is a small school, which means that we can't really specialize. The people that work here, whether it be Ann or the teachers or any other person, has to be able to do a lot of things and do them well. So a typical period of time for Ann is she's on the phone, talking to a parent perhaps, asking a question. A student will come in and need something. A teacher will phone and has maybe a tech problem and needs some assistance. The copy machine will jam. There'll be an issue in the boys' or the girls' bathroom, some plant issue, a circuit breaker will pop, the Wi-Fi won't be working quite right, and she'll need to make a support call to that, to our provider. So she does multitask and does it in a seamless way. It's, you wouldn't think, looking at her, she's doing 5 or 6 things at the same time because she does everything calmly, doesn't get frazzled, and is extremely efficient and gets things done.
I actually was a secretary assistant for a while, but I later dropped that class. It was a class for a study hall because it was really hard. So being an assistant, it was hard. So I can't even imagine how hard it is to be the actual secretary, with all the phone calls and everything.
Managing the school office, which, yes, involves answering all those phone calls and being the first contact for everyone entering the school, is a responsibility Mrs. Coelho doesn't take lightly.
I'm essentially the face of the school, so first impressions are everything to people walking through the door, whether it be a parent or whether it's a lay person from the community. So my goal is to be as helpful as I can, answer all the questions that I can, or at least make sure that I can find out in a rapid manner for them and get back to them.
I've had a lot of secretaries in my career, and it's hard to have that blend of you're good at your job, you make it look effortless, and you also treat people really, really well. Whether they're, you know, kids or parents or a community member that comes in off the street. Yeah, she's very good.
The first time I met Mrs. Coelho, I was in 8th grade shadowing here at Mercy High School, and I went into the office not knowing anyone, and she was really nice and kind to me and directed me towards where I'm supposed to go.
Serving the students is at the heart of everything Mrs. Coelho does for Mercy High School, and being able to witness their growth and eventual graduation makes all the multitasking and jammed printers worth it.
So proud of the kids who graduated from here. So many of them have really great ambitions. Some of them start out small, sort of taking baby steps along the way, but come to find out they're applying at greater, bigger colleges, doing good things. Some of them have opened great national companies, and it's really nice to find out that we've given them the wings to fly.
Ms. Coelho, you are a big reason why those students are able to succeed. Thanks for taking care of them and giving your heart to Mercy High School. Our next stop is Shasta Meadows Elementary School in Reading, where speech and language pathologist Donna Mays is part of an amazing team working with some pretty special students.
As a speech and language pathologist, Donna Mays works with more than 50 students at multiple Shasta County sites, and it's her job to know and care about each of their individual needs.
Because when a lot of people think of speech pathologists or speech teachers, they think that we just pull them out and work on their S sounds. There's so much more that we do, and there's just so much. We work with fluency, we work with, we do a lot of behaviors, because a lot of times their only service is speech, so we are their behavior, making sure they're regulated throughout the whole day. We go in and support the teachers. What can Johnny have to support him because he's unable to sit or unable to hold a pencil? I've done that too.
Part of how she is supporting her students is by working with Principal Susanna Winstead to create a PAL zone to help some of the most needy students.
This room is referred to as the PAL Zone, which stands for Peace and Love Zone. It is a room that was designed by a retired teacher. All of the decorative ideas came from Olivia LaField, a retired teacher from Reading School District. With her help and with the help of the Breakfast Lions Club, they were able to make the room look as it does, and then we combined that with Donna's ideas for sensory routines for students so that they could learn how to self-regulate. Donna has been instrumental in sharing her knowledge and experiences with working with students not only in speech and language but also with trauma students and students that may have a more difficult time managing their own behaviors.
The students are from low socioeconomics, and a lot of them don't know where they're going to sleep in the morning or that night, or what they're going to have for food. So a lot of our kids don't know how to control themselves and haven't learned how to regulate their emotions quite yet. And so teaching the students, if they're feeling angry, well, what can they do instead of screaming or throwing furniture or hitting or biting? What can you do instead? And actually, catching them before they do it, so keep getting them in there throughout their regular day schedule, catching them before that happens can help tremendously.
We've been able to take data from the success and the amount of time that students have been in this room, and we have noticed a significant decrease in our behavior referrals that would normally naturally come to me as an administrator. I can't even tell you how valuable that is.
Collaboration is very important for Donna, whether it's helping create the PAL Zone or working with the staff of a special day preschool on the campus of Sycamore Elementary School.
She comes in and she works in small groups with the children, and she also supports me in our large groups. She helps me write their IEPs. We work together as a team, so we really function well as a team. She's very supportive of me, and I help her as well, and we work really well together.
What she brings to our programs when she's serving our preschool students is that she really knows how to work well with a very young child who has some significant delays, and not all speech and language therapists, they all have different strengths and weaknesses and populations they like to work with. So we feel very, very lucky that Donna does bring a skill set to our programs that is very well suited to working with the young child.
Okay, I could not have ever have done this without my team, because without my team, there's nobody. There's nobody. It's not a one-man show. We are all in it together, and that's the goal. That's I think why our PALS room has been so successful, because we all work so well together. And if one person has an idea, we support each other, or and have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's fabulous.
Donna may be innovative in her techniques and a supportive team member, but if you ask the members of the team what really sets her apart from the crowd, they'll all agree it's her loving heart and the way she cares for each individual student.
Has a passion and a heart that is something that is to be admired, and she is an inspiration to adults that we work with, and then also to students. Students adore Donna. And that is so important in working with students in her area of expertise, but also students of this demographic, because she can connect with kids and she's a positive adult in their lives.
Number one goal is, I'm a speech pathologist, so it's supposed to be communication, but my absolute number one goal is to get to their heart. I want to be like somebody that they feel safe with, and I just want to be in their heart.
A peace and love zone. I think a lot of us could use one of those. Thank you, Mrs. Mays, for touching the hearts of both your students and the members of your team. They're lucky to have you. Ready for our next stop? It's Grand Oaks Elementary School, where behavior interventionist Coach Mike Corbell is keeping kids on track and in school.
Standing at well over 6 feet tall, behavioral interventional professional coach Mike Corbell is someone the students at Grand Oaks Elementary School in Shasta Lake can look up to both literally and as a strong role model.
Say he's a very kind man. He's a very kind, he's a big, strong man, so there's obviously, a presence of kids, they look up to him. We all look up to him. He's a tall guy. So I would say we all look up to him, and we have great conversations with him. The kids feel safe, and they feel like they can talk to him about anything. He can zero in on needs that the children have more individually than we can as the staff that are working with bigger groups of children. So I would say, just that his presence is noticed by everybody.
One thing anyone working at Grand Oaks can't help but notice is how his presence, combined with his thoughtful approach to behavior management, has brought change to the campus.
Behaviors incidents have gone down quite a bit, and also the kids just want to be heard. They want their story. Even if they've done something wrong and they know they broke one of our big 3 rules, they still want to have their story told, even though they know they're going to get in trouble. So most of the time they want to be heard, and just having a safe place to come. When I walk on campus, I get, "It's Coach." They call me Coach, and they give me hugs and high fives and wanting to know how things are going.
So we were struggling with some of these kids not being able to be in class because they weren't learning. They were keeping other kids from learning, and so we would be removing them from class. When we brought in Mike, it allowed Mike to go to the kids, go to the source, possibly remove them from class if necessary. Sometimes he could work with them in class, just sit down next to them, and that would work. But he had a place to bring them. And our goal has always been, work with the kids and get them back into class as soon as possible in that learning frame of mind. And it's really helped twofold, because it helps the individual refocus, get their mindset back on learning, but it's also helped the classroom, because now the teacher doesn't have to take time out from the 20+ other kids that need their learning, and those kids now have an unobstructed learning environment. So it's been great to have somebody to support these kids, give them some of the tools that they need, rethink where they are, and I think it's just been beneficial for the kids in the class as well as the individual kid who needs to step out of class for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to get ready to learn.
Coach Corbell's efforts have resulted in school suspensions dropping 250%, and the secret to that success, according to Mr. Effa, is relationships.
Has kind of that perfect mix of passion. He knows how to build relationships with kids, but he also knows how to keep the focus on what it needs to be on, and that is that kids achieving their potential. So he's great at what I would call tough love. And it's about understanding what the kids need, but really finding out how to get them to their highest potential. So not dropping down expectations, but building them up so they can achieve those expectations.
That's the whole key to the whole job, is the relationships. school and get to greet them all and say good morning and how they're all doing, how they all run up to me and they want to be heard and they want to tell me their little what happened or a little fun thing or, you know, I got a new pair of shoes or one of those positive things. The greeting is the best. Every student I worked with last year, if they're here, I check in with them every day. Positive reinforcements in the morning. Actually, I go to every classroom in the morning and check in with all the students. How you doing? You look nice today. You know, how's things going? Did you have a good night? You know, those kind of things. And then I observe, and if I see somebody that's quiet or they're not their normal self, then I'll do a follow-up later on to see, you know, what's bothering them or something out of the norm.
Coach has made a huge difference on our campus. He works with kids, he works with all our children, but he especially works trying to build healthy relationships with some of the leaders on our campus. He's very good at circumventing issues with kids. We have several kids that've got big anger issues, and when I see them starting to lose control, I can call for Coach and he can come take them, and he brings them into his room here and talks with them and helps them and works with them on some problem-solving skills. So that's very beneficial.
Every school should have this position. You know, what do you do? What do you do? It's that in-between level between teacher and the administration as far as principal and that kind of discipline. And our whole thing is to keep the kids in school, not get them expelled or out of class so they're not getting further behind in the education. So the whole thing is to build those relationships, keep them in school, support the teachers, support the students, and just keep rolling that way.
Suspensions down 250%. Wow. Talk about real results. Great job, Coach. Do you remember your schoolyard duty? You know, the one that seemed to have eyes in the back of their head? Well, our next stop is Buckeye School of the Arts, where Mrs. Val Cantwell has been watching over the students for more than 20 years.
It doesn't matter if the temperatures are near freezing or scorching hot. For the last 27 years, the students at Buckeye School of the Arts could count on paraprofessional and yard duty Val Cantwell watching over them on the playground.
I do think the kids, when they know that year after year that Miss Val's going to be back, that it's a comfort for them.
I'm in a constant, like Val has here at Buckeye, that you almost become a family member. You're that distant family member because you knew the parents when they were little, and the parents can relay their experiences. Oh yeah, I remember her when I was at Buckeye, and it actually provides a bit of comfort for the students to know that there's that constant, that thing, you know, share the same experiences that their parents experience, or their aunts or uncles or older siblings, and it creates that connection. That again, it radiates into the community. It's not just at Buckeye.
We've always said, and this is, I don't even remember when we started saying it, I've always felt when I first came back and my son had started in first grade, that it was kind of like, it was a family. That we all, the staff knows one another, we all work together, we all care about the kids and about one another. It's a safe environment, it's a happy place to be.
After all those years keeping a close eye on the students, Principal Sean Martinez says one can develop a sixth sense for trouble.
It's funny how how did you know something was going on? Well, when a whole bunch of students all of a sudden congregate in one area, it pretty typically means something's going on in that spot. And, or they act guilty. You know, you can tell, you know, they're trying to hide something.
It actually comes in, yes, because as you get to know the kids too, from year to year as they come back, you know, to keep an eye out when certain children are with other kids that, you know, something maybe volatile might be happening, and yeah, and we can stop it before it happens.
That innate ability. There have been times I've been out there, and, you know, we both feel at the same time we're heading towards that situation together, and we laugh about it. You know, as I saw you coming.
Sometimes I think they think we have eyes in the back of our heads because you're constantly roving and looking around, and it's amazing the things that you can catch.
It's not only her ability to spot trouble that makes Mrs. Cantwell a valuable member of the Buckeye staff, it's also her kind demeanor and caring heart.
Always giving and caring, and she has been known to if student clothes are ripped or need repaired, she'll, you know, sew buttons on them, or she helps staff members too whose clothes need alterations. She's just known to do that. Just one more thing that she'll do for people and not ask for anything in return. she's a helper at heart, and she actually has, and I don't know how much she got into, but she has many skills and many talents. If you were to ask Val, she probably wouldn't go into any of it. It's just what she does and who she is, and you know, when you point that out, it makes her uncomfortable. So I just do it. I don't do it for people to recognize or identify. It's just I'm helping.
The big thing is I always have a bag of shoelaces in my bag too. Not alone just for the shoes whenever they've been missing shoelaces over the years, which that has happened, that we've replaced shoelaces. But whenever their pants are too big and we take a shoelace and we put it through the back loops of their pants and then tie it so it's like a belt. And then there's been over the years too buttons, because I'm a big button person, so I have lots of buttons, and whenever I see they're missing buttons, I say, make sure you bring your coat back tomorrow and I'll bring you a button and we'll sew it on. And I've sewed little Nerf balls or the hacky sack balls, you know, whenever they get their holes. It's just, I love to sew, and I just love to see that they're happy when something's repaired instead of just throwing it away.
When I first came to work at Buckeye, I had spent 20 years at high schools, and I was told, you know, if you're having a bad day, just go to kindergarten, and that'll make a bad day good. And Val's kind of that same way too. If I'm having a bad day, I just check in with Val, and she gets my head pointed back in the right direction and get some of her positive energy, and I'm ready to go.
Mrs. Cantwell will be retiring at the end of the school year, and when she leaves, she'll be taking decades of memories and the gratitude of the staff, especially Principal Martinez.
One of those, I don't even want to think about it right now, because it will be a huge void. It will be a huge void because of everything that she does. Yeah, another big part is she gets it. You know, she gets our community, she gets our students, and you know, hopefully, you know, she'll be replaced with somebody that gets it too. But it's hard to replace 26, 7 years of experience being right here, working with these families. It'll be a huge. You just don't, and we won't fill her void. You know, we won't employ somebody. They'll come to Buckeye and do a great job and love our kids, but then we won't get another Val.
Mrs. Cantwell, we hope you enjoy your retirement, and on behalf of thousands of Buckeye alumni, we'd like to say thank you for your dedication. It'd be hard for the rest of our honorees to successfully do their jobs if the classroom roof was leaking or if the playground was full of holes and left unmowed. Our final honoree tonight, Jason Haver, is the maintenance supervisor at Evergreen Elementary School, and he takes pride in keeping 3 different school sites up and running.
School campuses have hundreds of moving parts and mechanisms, and as the maintenance supervisor for the Evergreen School District, which includes multiple school sites, it's Jason Haver's job to make sure they are all moving in the right direction.
It's everything from toilets overflowing to my key stuck in my door to we don't have any copy paper. And it's every day. You don't know what's going to come down the pipe, and you just have to field it and go with it. And you know, it's like I said, it is kind of a situation where every day you're expected to open up and everything's supposed to be fine, but it doesn't always happen like that. And you have to do your best to do whatever you can to afford that to the staff and to the students, which is ultimately what we're all here for.
The staff here at our school, I don't want to say that they take for granted the maintenance and the custodial crew that we have and Jason's crew, but they come to their classrooms every day expecting everything to work. And for the most part, that happens. And there's a lot of work that's done behind the scenes. And it is things like fixing leaky pipes or leaky roofs or plugged drains and toilets, which nobody wants to deal with. His crew does that, and they do it, with, like I said, without complaint. And they create facilities where it allows teachers and instructional aides and yard duties and administrators and everybody to be able to do their job fairly seamlessly because of his attention to detail and trying to stay ahead of things so that everybody can do their job, and really with very little disruption.
Something that was causing quite a bit of disruption were the elementary school bathrooms that were original to the campus and, suffice it to say, not up to code.
So with the school as old as it is, as old as some of the facilities are here, the codes have changed over the years. So what was maybe built to code 30 years ago is not to code today. And so when a problem arises, Jason's able to look into that and say, here's what we have, here's what we need to get to, and devise a solid solution to do that. It's certainly more difficult than a new construction where you can just build to code or can just set it up as planned. You have to look at what's been done to the place over the last several decades. And I think that ability to dig into where we are and where we need to get to and come up with a viable solution is what really helps Jason do his job.
2015, we started a project to add new portable buildings to our facilities because of the growth that we were experiencing. Part of that project to get approval was to adopt an ADA accessibility update to 2 of our bathrooms, the staff bathrooms and the main gym bathrooms at the elementary school. Huge undertaking. We had no idea what we were getting into. The limited, the varying degrees of experience we all have on our team allowed us to take on the job, but throughout the whole process, we all gained an amazing amount of knowledge, as far as whatever. So to be able to go from kind of know what we're doing to figuring it all out to put out a finished product that I feel very proud of, as well as my whole team, and I'm really proud of our guys. But that's probably, if I had to say that there's a project that I'm proud of around here, it would be the gym bathroom.
We recently finished a long remodel of staff and student restrooms. The vast majority of the work was done by our crew. And we were able to save the district money and also, but at the same time, produce what I consider to be an excellent product.
Jason knows the campuses at Evergreen inside and out, not only from his job as head of maintenance, but from his time attending the school as a student. That special connection to the school is one of the things Principal Brad Mendenhall says sets Jason apart from his peers.
To him, it's much more than a job. He cares very much about this community, the community that raised him. He cares very much about this school, the school that he went to. So his buy-in and his ownership is above and beyond what is typically seen. And I'm very proud of him for that. I feel very fortunate to have him as part of our team because he gets the fact that if his crew does an excellent job, it creates the best possible learning environment for our staff and for our students.
There's days when I walk away and I feel really proud to do what I do. And some people don't get the enjoyment of every day seeing what they did with their hands to be a finished product, or walk away from a project and say, I did that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of something I really kind of hold near and dear to myself, or whatever, being able to walk away and say, school looks great, kids had fun, everybody got to do their job.
I hear Jason and his team have things called Code Brown and Code Green. I'm not even going to ask what those mean. Instead, I'm just going to say thank you for taking care of it for the rest of us. Thank you for traveling with us to all of these amazing schools. Each of the people featured tonight were nominated by a colleague during our open nomination window last fall, when our staff and board of directors worked diligently to contact each district in our viewing area concerning nominations. If you would like information on when you can nominate someone for next year's big education event, contact the station at 243-5493. And if you think about it, take a moment to thank one of the people who have supported you when you most needed it. These unsung heroes are around us every day. I'm Jesse Angelo. Good night.